The Composio connector is amazing if you want to use Gmail in Claude. If you compare Claude's Gmail connector to Composio's Gmail connector, you will see there is a huge difference. The Composio connector has way more actions you can take across Gmail. You can send emails directly just by asking in the chat. You can use multiple Gmail accounts for one Claude account, and this one connector gives you access to over 1,000 apps that you can use with your Gmail account. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to connect Composio to Claude, how to connect your Gmail accounts. We're going to be doing a test run of the send feature, and I'm going to show you a few use cases of using Gmail with other apps like Google Calendar and Google Sheets. Of course, you can pretty much connect to any app with Composio, so this is just to give you a little guide on what you could do to create Gmail agents and workflows in Claude. Everything that you're seeing in this tutorial, you can do for free. So you need a free Composio account, and you can just get started for free on the homepage. For Claude, you can use Claude Chat, Cowork, even Claude Code, and you can use the free tier as well. I would just recommend using the desktop version just to make sure you don't have any issues connecting the apps initially. So the first step is to add the Composio connector. So how it works is just like how you have these connectors in Claude, we're going to add another connector called Composio. Now, if you're on a free Claude plan, just keep in mind that you can only have one connector at a time. This won't be an issue though, because when you connect to Composio, you basically connect to all of these apps that you were already connected to in Claude. It's just that you're doing it in one shot. So you can just add those all back after in Composio. You're gonna go to the left sidebar, you're gonna go to Customize, go to Connectors, Add Custom Connector. And we just need to put two things here. So we need to put a name for our connector and then the URL. To get that URL, we're just going to go to Composio for you and get started for free. Okay, and once you're in, make sure you're on the tab that says Composio for you. This page is basically asking us, hey, which AI are we using? So we're going to go to Claude and Claude Cowork, and we're going to copy the URL right here. Then we're going to go back to Claude. We're going to give our custom connector a name and paste that URL. Then we're going to click add. And you may have to do some extra connection steps here. Okay, that was pretty fast. So once Composio is connected, it'll show you all the permissions, and we're just going to keep everything as is for now. All right, so you can pretty much connect to any app from here, and you can do it in two ways. The first way is to literally just say, hey Claude, connect to Gmail. It's going to find Composio, and you're just going to allow it to run. And Claude is automatically going to give you a link to connect to Gmail. So I'm just going to click this link right here. I'm going to choose the email that I want to connect to. And here, this is a pretty standard page for a lot of platforms. Basically, Google is trying to ask you if you want your Composio access to expire after 6 months, or if you want to give ongoing access. So I'm just going to give ongoing access here. And then it says that I've successfully connected and I can go back to Claude. The second way to connect to Gmail is directly through the Composio for You dashboard. If I go to Connect Apps here and I find Gmail, it shows me that I have one active connection here, which is the email that I just connected. But another great thing about Composio is that you can add multiple emails. So let's say you have an email for freelancing, for work, for personal. You can add all of these emails and use them with Claude directly. I can click on Connect New or Connect another account here, and I'm just going to add another inbox. Okay, it took me back, and I can see my two active Gmail connections, and I can even label them appropriately. So let's say this is my work email, and this is my personal. Okay, so let's see how we can check and send emails here. I'm going to ask Claude, check my work inbox and tell me if there's any messages that need responding to within the past 3 hours. Composio is going to find those emails, and I'm just going to allow it for this task. Okay, so Claude got back and said there's 2 messages that need a response. I'm going to tackle one email at a time here. So tell the yes and give me a draft before you send. Okay, so this draft looks pretty good to me. I'm going to say, yep, send. And almost immediately, it told me it sent the email. I'm going to go to my send here and see if it's sent. Okay, cool. it actually did the reply automatically for me. Awesome. So let's go back and whip up a response for the other email. Now, of course, these are just demo emails, and it looks like my example person would like to do a site visit in September. I'm going to say connect to my Google Calendar via Composio and tell me which of those dates would be best. Because it looks like we're given 3 options for dates here. Composio is prompting me to connect Google Calendar, which we'll do just like before. And Composio is going to actually look through my Google Calendar events and see if there's any days where I'm already busy. All right, it caught that I'm on a conference one of the days. I'll say, tell him September 5th works, create the Google Calendar event and invite. All right, so it says it sent a reply here. I added the site visit to my Google Calendar. It also invited his email, which is great. And even better, it sent a reply too. Something to add is that Composio's Gmail connector has more actions, right? For example, can you edit the event description to say that Martha will be joining virtually, but make sure you don't notify the attendees of this change. So basically what usually happens if you update an event description in Google Calendar, if you update a location, usually it will ask you if you want to notify the attendees or not. And by default, if you use Claude, it's going to notify them, but you can also use Composio's special actions to block this. So you can see the site visit here with the updated description. Now do keep in mind when you make updates like this, sometimes Claude will try and change things like the times. The best tip I have here is to just make your prompt as clear as possible. All right, so we've gone through how to do a workflow with Gmail and Google Calendar. So let's try with Google Sheets as well. This time I'm going to add Google Sheets through the dashboard here, just at the top. I'm also going to make sure that I disconnected Google Drive from Claude since I can't do much with this. So for this one, I'm going to ask Claude to look through my subscriptions from the past month, list them out, total them up. And what's great is that you can edit the Google Sheet as well, which I'll show you. So I'm going to say, please search my personal Gmail for reoccurring subscription receipts from the past month. We're going to put them into a Google Sheet and we'll see what comes out of it. All right, let's check the Google Sheet. Okay, so it did what it was asked. It looks pretty basic, but the good thing is that we can actually make edits from here. What I like to do is split my Claude and Google Sheets so I can visually see any edits I want to make. I'm asking Claude for 3 changes here. I'm going to reformat the table a bit. I'm going to add a sum formula at the monthly cost column, and then I'm asking it to create a bar graph to compare the subscriptions. Let's see if it does it. And you can see how Claude is working in real time here to add those columns, adjust them, add the chart. Okay, it looks like it cleaned it up here. It didn't actually add this chart though. I'm going to take a picture of this. There's no chart. And I'm seeing the total column too is adding to 0, even though it has some here. And I think it probably has to do with the way that it formatted the numbers. Please fix the format the numbers so the total monthly cost and chart work properly. Okay, let's look. It looks like it updated the bar chart, which is great. And the total column is looking all accurate here. So you can see here that by using this connector, you can sort of work side by side where you're pulling data from Gmail, you're putting it in Sheets, and you can edit the sheet all at once. From here, if this is something you want to do on a regular basis, you could maybe say, hey, turn this into a skill. And basically, it's going to create a repeatable set of instructions where it always finds your subscriptions from the past month. It puts them together and it creates this sheet for you. And in terms of taking it a step even further, you can connect to apps like QuickBooks, for example. You could compare the Google Sheet to QuickBooks and say, hey, is there anything missing? You could also put it into a Notion page or send it as a Slack message. So you can really make like your own workflows from here using pretty much any app you want. Now going back to our skill, it looks like it made it. Let's add the skill. I'll save it here. And whenever I want to use it, I can just type it in Claude here. All right, that's how you connect Claude to Gmail through Composio. You can search your inbox, send emails, and then you can use those emails in Google Calendar or Google Sheets or any app you want. So like I've said before, this is all using free accounts, and those should get you pretty far in getting started on some workflows. I hope you found this helpful, and let me know what you build.